Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining me this evening. I see we already have two people online. So we're going to wait for at least five people to join us. But before we get started, I would like you to please share this video, invite someone to join. All right. So without wasting time, my name is Kestia and I also work with Ladies Corner. I just want to thank the founder, the visionary of this organization, T. Thanks for the opportunity, and thank you for the considering me and allowing me to do this and letting the youth out here to be aware and to learn something from this talk show. So my name is Kestia and today we will be discussing about youth matters. We will be talking about focusing on topics related to youth. And this evening, I'm not going to be alone. I will have a guest speaker with me. His name is Mr. Maiden. He is He's a financial advisor, he's a financial expert. And why will I have a guest speaker? Because the topic that I want to touch on this evening is financial literacy. Why financial literacy? Because I believe that as young people, as youth, it's very important to know the importance of financial literacy. And because many of us young people, we don't really know how to budget well. We don't really know how to invest in our money. And I believe that it's very important to know this because will um, this will avoid us into making wrong decisions when it comes to money, when it comes to budgeting. So I'm gonna invite my guest speaker for tonight, Mr. Maiden. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good evening. No, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Awesome. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Good evening. Thanks for joining me.
hmm
Thanks for joining me. So, without wasting any time, I'm just gonna give a little bit. I'm just gonna give a little bit about who is my guest speaker. So, my guest speaker is Dixon Maiden, and he is a financial coach located in Edmonton, Alberta, and he's fully licensed. He works with families in Alberta, Ontario, and the Northwest Territories to provide families with a financial and retirement plan that aligns money matters with our the family's values, goals, and dreams. So please welcome my guest speaker, Mr. Dixon Maiden. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So today, the reason why I wanted to touch on financial literacy, like I've discussed with you, is that many of us young people, I feel that it's very important that we know um, the importance of financial stability and why we need to budget and money wise and save. So, as for you, a financial expert, financial advisor, the question that I have for you this evening is that why do you think it's very important for young people to save, and when do you think is the right at what age do you think as youth we should start saving?
So, the importance of financial literacy is
Yeah.
because that it's not taught in school.
Yes.
We are taught how to go get a job and make our money, but we're never taught how to save it, invest it, and make sure that that money stays in our pockets,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, as far as when you should start, I always say yesterday, right? Because what happens is the earlier you start, the better it is.
The better it is. Yeah.
So right now, especially with what's going on with COVID-19, I know that
Yeah.
a lot of people are being stressed, financially,
Yes.
emotionally,
Yes.
and healthy wise
Mm.
of what's happening in the world. But at the same time, we still have to look at our finances to make sure that we are maintaining a good financial health.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So it's yeah.
All right. That was a very good answer. Do you think because I've seen a lot of youth because many of us are at home, many of us have online school working from home.
Mhm.
Some of us young people, we maybe go to work twice a week and then the rest of the days we just have online school and everything. But then with this whole pandemic and this whole COVID-19, many youth out here have lost their jobs. And many youth are now finding ways to get money or to have something in their pockets. And I've seen a lot of youth online that are getting into forex and everything. So if there is another student or a youth out there seeing someone getting into forex and they tell themselves, oh my gosh, let me also get into it because why? I want to have money and everything. So what do you have to say on that?
Okay, so like right now, I know that there's not a lot of jobs, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
the most important thing is to focus on your passion, right? Just because one person is doing forex doesn't mean that you're
You
gonna
have to follow the crowd. Yeah.
or you wanna be able to try to find something which you love within your heart,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So when you find something you love, you're gonna be able to do it with wholeheartedly. You're gonna do it with a good work ethic, right?
Mm.
So
Mhm.
find a side hustle, a job, not even a job, a business. Even though you're still young, um, you can start a business, right? And most people think that starting a business, you need a lot of money to do it. There's a lot of businesses which actually have low cost to do it, right?
Yeah. You
So
can start with what you have.
yes,
Mhm.
for example, let's say online marketing, social media marketing, you don't need a lot of money to do that. All you need
Mhm.
is experience and clients,
Yeah,
right?
that's
For you
true.
to be able to
Mhm.
do that. So just because another person is doing something doesn't mean you have to, unless you have the passion for that
Mhm.
side hustle, or
Mhm.
for example, forex. If you understand it and you gonna be able to dedicate yourself to educate yourself in that department, then yeah, you can venture into it. But
Mm.
do anything like chasing money. When you're chasing money, you're never gonna get it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. All right. And then with a lot of youth with when we see things online, we just want to buy. We are so easily influenced with what we see online,
Mhm.
you know, and it's very important that we know our needs and our wants, and we know why we are saving and why we are investing in our money. And so, what advice can you give to us? Me, myself, I'm young, I'm a student. So,
Mhm.
what advice can you give to me on how to budget wisely, money wise, and to be responsible on how I'm using my money? And I'm sorry, I just keep talking because I have a bunch of questions. The other thing is that with the credit cards, a lot of parents give that permission, allow the children, I won't say children, but young people, they have credit cards. But I've heard from some of my friends, some of my colleagues saying, "Oh, I need a credit card so that because I don't have money right now, so I need a credit card." But I feel that getting a credit card is not bad as as us young people, as youth. But you need to know the purpose. You need to know why you are getting that credit card. Are you getting that credit card just because you need money so that you can just start spending money with the credit card? Because at the end of the day, we forget as young people is that we need to keep good credit scores. So, what advice can you give to someone who is just wasting money, taking money out of the credit card like crazy, and then just being easily influenced by what they see on the media? They just want to buy this because they see this ad. They want to buy this. So, what as a financial advisor, what advice can you give to us young people? Because the truth is, we love to spend money on clothes, food, the list goes on. Yeah.
Everybody loves to spend money. I love to spend money, right? And spending money is not, people look at it as a bad way, as in like you're overspending, but you always have to keep that discipline, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing you have to understand is that, okay, just because your friend is buying nice makeup, is buying all this stuff,
Yeah.
you don't know how they're getting their money, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you are truthful to yourself,
Yes.
right? Because
Yes.
most people, they don't want to talk about their finance because they don't have any money. And if you think about um, when I was young, money was never brought up on the kitchen table because we didn't have enough. And the only thing I probably knew about money is I did not have enough, and it was leaving my bank account fast, right?
Mm,
So now, when you're a youth and you're trying to build your dreams,
mm,
start thinking about 30, 40 years from now, what do you want to have, right? And
mm,
then work it backwards so that you start thinking, okay, you know what? I want to travel. I want to do all this. And
mm.
the most thing you can do is delay your gratification. I know it's really hard because we live in the instant gratification world where
Yeah.
people want it instantly.
Yes.
But for example, if you go to the mall, you see a nice little dress you love. You be like, oh man, I should buy this. But you didn't go to the mall for
You're
that.
so tempted to buy.
So what I always tell people, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
look, I get it. You love that dress. Give yourself at least 2 minutes to think about it. So leave the dress, walk around the shop,
Yeah.
and circle your way back to the dress. And if your mind still tells you to buy it, then I guess you should buy it. You should buy it because and sometimes it's don't walk with your credit cards. Don't walk with. I always tell people, I'm like, okay, do this experiment.
Mm,
Get $100 bill at the
yeah.
back, like just cash $100 bill,
Yeah.
and you're gonna see that the moment you try to buy something for $4, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna no, this is my $100. I'm not gonna break it, right?
Yeah.
But the moment you break that $100, it's gone like this, right? So you wanna be able to try to be disciplined with your money,
With your
right?
money.
How
Yeah.
much you have,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
how much you can spend, and don't spend because you're getting peer pressure from your friends because they have this nice little phone and you
Yeah.
want to go grab the same phone. And here's the thing, and sometimes when people see things on sale,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this sale is not going to come back. How many times have we had sales and Black Fridays and all these things happening every single year, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So delay the gratification, delay it a little bit, and then you're gonna see that you can be disciplined with what you have. And
Mm.
most of the time, it's not about how much you make; it's about how much you keep.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah. And
When-
I also, and
Mhm.
so, sorry about that. I also feel that it's also very important to journal your spending. So, like, write down what you spend and how much you spend, and
Yeah,
then you see, you know, that's one thing I didn't, no one taught me this, but I watched a video online about budgeting, saving, investing in your money and everything. And this lady was just saying that she was giving an advice saying that you need to journal your spending. So write what you spend on, and then write what you the things you bought for yourself and what you spent on, the totals and everything. Do that, keep track of doing that every month. So when you do that, that will allow you to see, okay, this is how I'm spending my money, this is how I spend in January, this is how I spend in March. So you see the difference, and then you'll be like, I need to, keep it down a little bit. So I think also, I don't think, but it's very important to journal your spending. Yeah.
and another thing I want to for the people who are watching this is
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a simple advice, a simple strategy you can use to make sure your mind triggers it out.
Mm-hmm.
So go get a spreadsheet. and look at your monthly living expense, so cost of living. So which
Yeah.
is that your cell phone bill, things you know that you need on a daily basis, your bus pass, your
Yeah.
fuel, and all that.
Yes.
And if you say, okay, let's say you work 20 days in a month, right?
Mm.
So divide that number, whatever that number is, in by 20, and that's going to give you a daily, an average daily cost of living.
Of your living. Yeah.
It's most like 80, maybe $100. So what you're gonna put in your mind is that if you spend $80, if you don't make $80 a day, you're dipping into your cost of living, so you don't have extra money to spend. So before you spend any money, you wanna think about that. Did I make more than my cost of living today before I spend it? Right? Because it's easy to spend money and you go work 6, 7, 8 hours for the same $80 you're gonna spend in 2 minutes,
Mm.
right? So you want to think about that. Write it down, the cost of living. Say, okay, look, I have to make $80 when I wake up in the morning, so that, because people think being financial independent or being financial secure doesn't mean you must have $1 million. It just means that you have enough money to have, let's say you have an emergency. You
Mm.
have enough money for 3 to 6 months saved.
Mm.
And I always switch people's minds saying, okay, don't think about emergency
Mm.
like as an emergency fund. Think about it as an opportunity fund. So if right now someone comes to you and say, hey, look, there's an opportunity you can buy into. It's going to make you $1 million in the next, let's say, 20 years, and it's going to cost you $1,000 to buy into the opportunity.
Yeah.
You can have that $1,000 to buy into the opportunity right away, right?
Yeah.
So I always give advice. I'm like, hey, look, even if you don't have money, because most people they say, Dixon, I have no money left. It's like I have no money left, and I,
Uh-huh.
okay, you can start with $25 a month,
Yeah.
putting away for you, not for anybody. Think
Yeah.
about all the amazing things you're doing in life, and you say, okay, I'm gonna pay myself $25 every single week, every single month. It's gonna be money for me. By the time you build to $1,000, $2,000, you're gonna feel that you're gonna get excited when, if even if you wake up tomorrow and win lotto, you're gonna have that mindset knowing that I have to invest money for me, right? Because the
Yeah.
problem is people want to wait until they make money. That's not the point. You
Mm-hmm.
start investing, start putting money away, start getting some rate of return on your money, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I can say.
Mm. So I have this case story that I just want to read out to you, and then I will ask my question. So I just saw this online. I love reading case stories. Yeah. So this is a 19-year-old who's saying that I wanted to work, but a pandemic hit. My parents honestly want me out no matter what, and I'm 19. My living conditions are bad anyways. I don't want to take out a loan, but it seems like I'll have to. My parents were absent parents. They didn't help me with a lot of stuff or teach me on how to find a job. I believe it was because we were a low income family and my parents would get government assistance until I turned 18. Maybe not working would have cut that off now that I think about it. I focused on school, though trying to get as many scholarships as possible and good grades. I got a lot of scholarships, but for college, it isn't enough. So, what advice can you give to this 18-year-old? Not just this 18-year-old in this 19-year-old in this case story, but what advice can you give to someone who finds themselves in the same situation as this girl in the same in the case story? Yeah,
Okay.
because it might not just be a 18-year-old. It might be someone who's even 21, a student, or someone who's 17. Yeah. So, what advice can you give to someone who's in the same situation?
Okay. So the parents wanted to move out. She doesn't have enough money. She got to grab a loan. She doesn't have a job, right? So the problem is, okay, she's 19 years old, and she wanna have all these things in her life, and her parents are not, uh, I can say, financially secure. right? Because some people they grow up in poverty, and it's
Yeah.
hard to escape poverty if you don't have any mentors around you to help you go through it. So my advice to her is this: okay, look, ask for your parents for, let's say, 6 to a year grace period. Say, hey, look, I want to get my life together.
Yeah.
It's your parents.
Yeah.
If your parents are not gonna kick you out on the side just because you say, hey, you know what, I'm
It's
trying.
not just that. Like, why would your parent want to kick you out at such a
That's
early
right.
age? Like, I know
Maybe there's
you
something,
can.
I don't
Yeah.
know, right?
Mm,
You go to your parents to say, okay, look, I'm trying to get my life together in the
yeah.
next, give me a year, right? And then when you go do that, if they say yes, I'll give you a year. Make sure you get your life together. Now
Mm,
you have to put in the effort. There's no elevator to success. No matter what you want,
mm,
there's no
yeah.
elevator. You have
Yeah.
to take the stairs. So what she have to do is go down, sit down, and write down all her goals, whatever she want to do.
Mm,
Write down the passion. Like, what is the passion? What makes her happy,
mm,
right?
yeah.
The moment you write that down, you're gonna see, okay, look, if you wanna, let's say she wanna be a model or she wanna do something in that field, start looking for people who are doing already what she wanna do.
Mm,
Because what happens is if you ask for help, and the problem with the millennials is
yeah.
that they are scared to ask for help because they are scared to be judged, right? And the funny thing is, those people who are judging you are not even doing as much as you are doing,
As
right?
you are doing.
So
Yeah.
don't be scared to be judged because they don't put food on your table. So you have to be honest with yourself with what you want. Don't be scared to ask for help, right? So
Mm,
you need to go ask for help. Say, hey, look, I want to get into this field. Can you help me? Can you be my mentor? Because most people don't even have mentors in this day and age.
yeah.
Mentors,
Yeah.
people do it for free. They don't want to charge you a lot of money, right? Some people do it. You can even get a mentor on YouTube, right?
Mm,
Go watch videos
yeah.
of someone you like and
And
start.
start watching these videos recently. Yeah.
Yeah, so start
Mm,
doing that so that it's gonna drive you towards what you want to do. And the other thing is, every single morning when you wake up, you gotta read your goals, right? So what happens is your subconscious mind is gonna pick it up. So if
yeah.
she's looking for opportunities in, let's say, modeling, and
Mm,
her subconscious mind is picking it up. So anything which says modeling, she's gonna pick it up,
mm,
right? So
yeah.
it's like, for example, let's say you go buy a brand new car, and
Yeah.
let's say you go buy a Mercedes Benz,
Mm,
and you be like, oh my God, you start seeing all these red Mercedes Benz everywhere. It's not because they were not there; they were
mm,
there already, but you never noticed it because it was not in your mind.
yeah.
Why a lot of people feel that when they're making their goals, they make their goals based on where they are in life. Don't make those goals based on where you are in life, because if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough.
Yeah.
And the other problem with the millennials is that they go tell their problems to the wrong people, right? So you go tell your problem to a friend who's living at home, doesn't have a job. You tell her that, yo, I'm going to be a millionaire. They're going to laugh at you because they never see you as that person who can reach that goal, who can actually reach that milestone. But it's something you have to prove to yourself that, you know what, I have to do this. And the other problem is we don't celebrate the small success. Even when you say, okay, I'm gonna wake up at 6 in the morning today, and then you wake up at 6 in the morning and you go, let's say you said you were gonna go for a walk, you go for a walk, come back, celebrate that because you did something for yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So always acknowledge those little,
Little things. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you always acknowledge those ones because uh, they're accomplishments. You accomplished something, so you wanna give yourself the credit.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't give yourself credit, who's gonna give you credit? You're gonna be asking people to give you credit because
No.
here's the thing:
No.
80% of the people you go tell your problems don't care, and 20% they're glad it's you.
Yeah.
So always focus on you.
On yourself. Mm-hmm. That's very important.
Mm.
Yeah. Very important. All right, Mr. Maiden. moving ahead, how can one build a financial plan?
How can you build a financial plan? So,
Yes.
in my
It can be because I know you can have a short-term financial plan and you have a long-term financial plan. So like for someone who wants to start that financial plan,
okay,
what can they do?
so
Yeah.
the easier way is to find a financial coach like me,
Yes.
because people like me, there are companies which charge you to build a financial plan. We don't. I don't charge you for a financial plan because I'm going to work with you every step of the way,
Mm,
which way you reach those goals to make sure I hold you accountable for those goals, right? So you want to find um, an advisor so
yeah.
that they can sit down with you.
Mm,
You have to be honest. It's just like when you go to a doctor. Like if you're feeling sick and you're like, "Oh, my stomach hurts," and you go to a doctor, you don't know what is it, right? So the doctor will be like, "Hey, you know what? Go do blood work or go do an X-ray, go do this, so that we find the core problem." So the same thing, you have to do a financial checkup to check like where you are.
yeah.
If you don't do that, you're just gonna go in circles. You don't even know what's the problem. And
Mm,
most people think that, oh, you know what? It's because I spend too much. It might not be that. It might be just that your values and cause and everything are off, right? And so working with a certified financial coach makes it different because they know when I see somebody's financial statement, I can tell you what they need to do. I give them suggestions. So financial coaches are different. We coach you based on what you want to do in life and show you, okay, this is the roadmap, how you're going to get to your goal faster, right? So you want to look for a professional who can
mm.
in that way, which is very easy.
And how about the long term? I mean, like I said, building a financial plan. So with someone, I know it's very important to build a financial plan, but with long term
Mhm.
financial plan. But why is it that you get some people that are trying to build a financial plan, but they do it in a for a short term one?
So
Why is that?
because all they're doing is they're just worrying about the now,
Mm,
right? So all professional financial plans will look at, okay, what do you want to do when you reach 60? Do you even want to work at 60? Okay, fine. If you don't want to work it until you're 65, do you want to work until you're 50? Right? And then we back engineer the numbers saying, okay, look, you are 20 today. By the time you're 60, you must have, let's say, five, six, $7 million. So they call it a financial independent number. So everyone have that number. So we back engineer numbers saying, okay, look, for you to have this much money when you're 50, you need to have this much money invested so that you can have that lifestyle. So we
mm,
back engineer the numbers and say, okay, look, so for you to reach this number, we have to start putting away 100, 200, maybe $400 a month invested at a very conservative rate of return in a good fund, and you get some rate of return on your money. So growing your money every single month, right?
yeah.
That you start getting that because especially right now, if you look at those people who buy stocks, if you go buy, let's say, a Tesla stock, it's
Mm,
expensive, right?
yeah.
But
Very
there
expensive.
are portfolios which are very conservative, which gets better rate of returns, and anybody can get into it, right? So just knowledge. So the more educated you become, the better you're gonna be with your money because nobody cares about your money but you.
Mm,
So
that's true.
that's the thing. And
Yeah.
the other thing is for the people for the millennials who didn't have a family where they talk about money or where they teach you financial literacy, you want to tap into these workshops, into the YouTube, research it, right? Because we're gonna use money the rest of our lives.
The
So
rest of our lives, yeah.
money the rest of our lives. Don't you think it's better to know the rules to the money game, right? Because there's rules to the money game. That's why there's a poor person, a middle class person, and a rich
And
person.
a rich person, yeah.
They understand it because a lot of people they say a lot of money equals evil. That's what we grew up hearing from people. Oh,
Yeah.
money is evil, but that's not the case, bro. When people with money they become evil, but
Yeah.
good people with money who are doing amazing things,
Mhm.
right? So you
Yeah.
gotta be able to educate yourself, right? And when you educate yourself, for I'll tell you a simple, I'll tell you a story here. Before I became a financial coach,
Mm.
I was in Montreal, right? And I just came from Zimbabwe, and I didn't know anything about money because the only thing I knew about money is that I did not have enough, and it was leaving my bank account as fast as I was, as fast, like it was just going. I wake up in the morning,
Wow.
money, right? But I was working hard for it. And
Mm.
so what happened was I got all these credit cards. So I got myself into a credit card situation. I went to a bank, I opened a bank account, and then when I woke out, they give me a $10,000 credit card because my credit was good. I was maintaining it for like 8 months. And then I decided to move
I
out.
have a question. I have a question. So, hearing you just mentioned that they give you a credit card with a 10,000
Limit on it.
limit on it.
Mhm.
That's the problem with a lot of young people. They see that, okay, maybe I've gotten a thousand credit card limit amount, or I have 10,000, and
Mhm.
then you just, like we spoke earlier on about the credit cards, you just start overspending, just spending anyhow, and that's why it's very important to for us students, young people, for us to be very responsible and discipline yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so that yeah, the same thing I did. I went and spent the money. The lady at the bank just told me, hey, you know what? As long as you're paying your minimum payment, you'll be okay,
Mm,
right? So a couple months later, the money wasn't come out from the card. I went back to the same financial institution. I went
yeah.
to the lady, I'm like, hey, you know what? Something wrong with your card. She's like, oh no, Dixon. There's something called a balance transfer. All you do is transfer balance from this account to this account, and then you're fine. So she gave me another $10,000 credit card. So what do I do? I'm 20 years old. What am I gonna do, right? So I go to the club, I buy bottles, I move out from my mom's house, and you know, by the time I spent all that money, I realized that my minimum payment was getting higher and higher and higher. Now I'm just on a roller coaster. I can't get off. Like even if I wanted to, right? I got myself into a situation. So I end up moving to Alberta, got a job, pay all that back. And the thing which made me curious was I was looking at other people who are driving Lamborghinis or driving nice cars. And I'm like, I'm working as hard as these people. They have the same 24 hours.
I don't have what they have.
They're driving nice cars, and I'm actually struggling. I'm scared to go to the bank because I'm scared they're gonna repo my car. Like I'm in so much financial mess, and I
Mm,
have to get out from that. And they said, okay, look, I have to educate myself,
yeah.
make sure that I know what these people know, right?
Mm,
So I went ahead and started educating myself. Started going to classes, started relearning about, okay, you know what is the Canadian system? How do you get out from debt? How do you help other people to do the same? So that's how I learned, right? It was the
yeah.
college of life, the university of life, right? So I had to
Mm,
go through that to understand that, like when I'm talking to a person who's in credit card debt, I'm like, hey, you know what? Any situation you're in, we can always get out from it. There's
yeah.
always a way out. But sometimes because people don't have the information, because what you don't know is what you don't know.
Is what you don't. That's why it's like we said, educate yourself. If you
Mhm.
don't know about a certain thing, Google is your friend.
Yeah, and then
Google
and then the other thing is don't be scared to reach out to
to
professional
people, yeah, professionals. Hmm.
help you so that you don't make these mistakes. We already went through these mistakes. We already know what happens when you do this. And we know that any situation you're in, so you might be maybe $100,000 in debt, maybe $200,000 in debt, it doesn't
Hmm.
matter. I can get you out, right? I
But
can.
why is it that all these things like how to, okay, I know some school, some kids have been taught that in school, but I feel like many times they don't teach us a lot about financial stability.
No, they
I'm
don't.
not I'm not talking about like university, because once you're university, like me, like you know, okay, you know how to save, you know the importance of saving, you know what budgeting is and investing your money. But I mean, someone who's grade 11 at that age, I think you're 16, 17. So you should, at that age, you should start saving. So why is it that um, things like this, topics like this, are not being taught in high school?
Well, because here's the thing. They teach us how to get a job. They teach you how to
Yeah,
get good grades in
good
school,
grades. Yeah.
practice financial literacy. It's not because it's because all you're learning from school. Like if you think about it, it's outdated information, but you can use it today. Like if you go buy a book on how to, let's say, to put ads on Facebook or whatever, it's
Mm,
outdated already because everything is changing every day,
yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of educating yourself, right? Because it's you who needs the information, right?
Mm.
So
The information is for you.
you need that
Yeah.
information, you have to go out and find it yourself, right? And the thing is, they say, I was reading an article, it says that the best way to keep people in slavery is not letting them know that they're in slavery.
Mm.
So the best way of keeping people in poverty is just don't tell them they're in poverty. They'll never know.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
They'll never know, right? And the thing
Yeah.
is, people don't understand that banks, they're businesses. They're businesses. It's a business.
Mm.
They work for their shareholders, not for you, right?
Mm.
They work for their shareholders. They don't work for average people like me and average people. You know,
Awesome. 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 Before we round up, I just have two more questions for you. So the one question is that do you think that this whole COVID-19, this whole pandemic, has taught many people the importance of multiple streams of income?
well, here's the thing. Um, it's very unfortunate that we got COVID. And at the same time, we always have to look at it as a positive thing.
Yeah.
The world was moving so fast that we started forgetting about our core values. We started forgetting about how we should be as humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when COVID came, everyone was taken by surprise that can be taken away from you at any time.
Yeah.
So now people have to understand that if you have a job, so you can never leave your job to your kids. Your kids can never inherit your job.
Mm.
They'll replace you faster, before you even go get buried if you die today.
Mm.
So people have to understand that we have to focus on multiple streams of income. Why? Because think about it. At the end of the month, how many
Mm.
companies which are taking money out of your account? Right? Maybe three, four. Electricity, cell phone, insurance. You have grocery stores. They're taking money from your account. And ask yourself how many companies are putting money into your account?
Into your account. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? One. So right now, the basic education is not doing it anymore. It's not. You have to become an entrepreneur. You have to make sure that okay, if you're working 8 to 5, right? 8 to 5 is to feed your kids and put more food in your mouth.
Yeah.
But from 6 p.m. to either 10 p.m. or midnight is the time for you to grow your passion, what you were destined to do. They say that there are two best days in your lifetime: the day you were born and the day you find out why. Those are the two best days in your life you can
Mm.
discover. So the day you were born and the day you find out why.
Why you were
When
born?
you find out the reason why you were born, like you, here's the thing, it will change your life, right? So, and the other thing is people, they're chasing money. Here's the thing, start solving problems. Think about the problems in the universe and
Mm.
think about how can you solve those problems. If you can solve problems for people, right? And then
Mm.
people can actually pay you. Think about Facebook. I'll give Facebook. Facebook right now is solving a lot of people. It's solving a COVID situation problem.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot.
Who's watching is getting this feed, this amazing information in the comfort of their home, and we're in the comfort of our homes to make sure that we give this amazing information. So that means if people go advertise on Facebook, Facebook is going to be rewarded likely,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
focus on the problem and then focus on the solution. Find the solution. That way you can be rewarded better. So like if you see how they said everyone is paid to the direct proportion of the value they bring to the marketplace.
Mm.
So you get paid. That's why you see like a doctor
Yeah.
paid based on the value. So let's say if I collapse right now and they say, hey,
Mm.
we need to go inside your body and change this and change that. And the one person can do it. It's gonna cost you $20,000. It's
Mm.
just like, oh yeah, get it done. Cause you know what I mean? But if you look at, let's say, a guy who does, like I used to do landscaping, a guy who does landscaping, how many landscapers out there? A lot, right? So
Yeah.
you're gonna get paid a little bit.
Yeah.
You cannot put food on your table, but it's the value you bring to the marketplace. So think about a solution which can help a lot of people to solve their problems, and then you can get more rewarded on that. So yeah, so
Awesome, 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 awesome. The last question is that when you were in that situation with your credit scores, when they give you that 10,000 credit limit, um, how was your experience like, and what can you give? Like, what can you say about keeping good credit scores?
well, keeping good credit score, which means that you can get approved for a lot of stuff if you want,
Yeah, to
right?
buy a house, to buy a car. Yeah.
Or you're gonna need credit. So
Mm,
you're gonna need credit to buy a house. You're gonna need credit to buy a car. You're gonna need credit to even get a cell phone. All right.
mhm.
So you wanna keep your credit in good condition,
Yeah,
right? Your credit is your heartbeat
that's
because
correct.
you wanna go negotiate deals. And even some companies they check your credit before they hire you,
Yeah.
right? So you wanna make sure you keep that in good condition. So maintain your credit. Make sure that you don't overspend. So the problem is live within your means, right? Don't try to get stuff you can't afford.
Mm.
There's a difference between a need and a want,
And a want. And that's
right?
what I said earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
know the difference between a need and a want.
And a
My
want.
want is, do I need it? Can I live without it?
Mm.
Right. So the
Mm-hmm.
moment you start giving yourself discipline, I know that I don't advise people to go on financial diets. I always find them to um, use other strategies to make more money, increase your cash flow. Here's the thing: budgeting is hard.
Yeah.
Like putting yourself on a financial diet is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what's easy. What's easier? Making more money.
Yeah.
There's no limit in making more money.
Mm.
When you budget, you can only budget so much. Like you can only cut so much things in your life, right? So imagine when you go on a diet saying, "Oh, okay, I'm not gonna eat any meat, or I'm not gonna
Mm.
eat anything which is bad for me this week," and you
Yeah.
find yourself a DQ eating ice cream, right? It happens. You break it fast. So always think of ways where you can make more money. And if you don't have any ways, reach out to me, and I can show you a couple strategies what you can do so that you can be highly rewarded, right? You can bring the value to the marketplace, and the market needs you because there's a lot of people right now, especially with the COVID, who
Yeah.
are bad, stressed because they owe money. And
Yeah.
I'm the guy
Yeah.
who goes and say, no, 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 you don't need to be stressed. Let's take care of it, right? So I
Mm.
take that stress away from people, saying, okay, look, there's ways we can do so that we remove this stress off you
Yeah.
and make sure that you're going to bed at night, because there are people who are going to bed at night. Just because you're going to bed at night doesn't mean you're resting, because your mind is still going about all the stuff you spend, all the money you spend three,
And
4 weeks.
how much you have to pay back.
Exactly. And
Mm.
people, like, if you're listening right now, if you're watching, I want you to go Google the rule of 72. Okay, compounding interest, right? So it's either working for you or working against you right now. So you want to know which side you're on. So how it works is simple. If you want to know how long your money is going to double, whether it's a debt or it's a credit or it's an investment, you take that number into 72 right? And it give you approximately how many years that money is going to double. So if you take, let's say for a credit card, if you take 19% of a credit card into 72, it's going to double every 3.8 years, right? And you want to understand inflation, right? Um, do you know what is the inflation rate ratio in Canada?
The inflation rate
Hmm.
is, isn't that 15%?
No, it's 3%.
It's 3%. Oh my goodness.
Inflation. So this is how it works.
Wow.
Cost of living, right? Because every year cost of living goes up. Like
Yeah.
if you remember when, let's say a couple years ago, how much was a loaf of bread, right? And how much is a loaf of bread now?
Mm.
It's going up. So that's the cost of living. So what happens with that is you have to keep that in mind. If you go invest your money at 2.5% and the inflation ratio is at 3%, you might as well keep that money under your pillow because
Mm.
you're losing, right? So that's those are kind of stuff you have to educate yourself so that you know, like when you go into in the investment, when you go into borrowing money, right?
Yeah.
So if you are getting charged interest at 19%, it's painful. It's gonna hurt, right? It's gonna hurt. So you wanna make sure that you know which side of the rule are you on, because the rule of 72 is working. It's either it works for you or it's working against you.
Mm.
So the question is, where are you? Which side are you? Because it's either you're on the other side, as long as you owe money or investing money.
Investing money.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, very what I liked about what you said is that you also said something about knowing your needs and knowing your wants, right? So
Yes.
now with keeping good credit scores, I why is it that people like I'm sure that you can go to a bank and tell them to bring down the limit amount, because if they've given you a, let's say, 10,000, you can tell them to cut it off.
You can try. It's a matter of a phone call. Here's the thing. So as long as you don't try to negotiate anything, the answer is always no. If you don't open your mouth. So let's say right now you have a credit card and they're charging you 19%. You can call your bank and say, hey, look, I really want to pay this off, but this interest is killing me right now.
Mm.
Can we actually bring it down to 11%? Can we actually bring it down a little bit?
To a
Or
10%, or yeah.
exactly. Or you can sit down with a financial professional and then we can find a way to make sure either we cut it in half or we can do other strategies to make sure that we pay that off and it's gone, right? So there are other things you can do apart from calling. You can call the bank and just talk to them. It's your bank, right? So if you've been banking with them for like, let's say 3, 4, 5, 6 years, you can call them. Hey guys, you know what? I've been with you for 10 years, and I'm trying to just get above the water, and you guys are killing me every month, right? With this interest. So can we find a way where we can meet halfway? And most of the time, especially right now, they're willing to do something, right?
Yeah.
Like remember when COVID started, they shut down all the interest for everybody, right?
It
So
was so
yeah,
bad.
they're always willing to do something. Yeah. So you
Wow.
can,
Wow. So we have 10 minutes.
mhm.
So we've reached the end.
Yes.
If anybody has, anyone watching has questions for my guest speaker, please feel free to send in your questions. We have 10 more minutes to take in questions.
Mhm.
If not, we will end the broadcast.
Awesome. Yeah, and people can go on my website, www.
Yes, visit his website. He's on Instagram too. Oh, yeah, just
My name,
visit
text
his
me.
website to know more. If you need a financial advisor, he's the best person to get in contact with. Or if you need just financial advices, he's here for everything. He's here
Exactly.
for everything. Yeah,
Mm.
he's here for everything.
Yeah.
No questions, nothing.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thanks for joining, and thanks for accepting to come on here and have a little debate on financial literacy. It was very educating. Like I've learned a lot, even though I was the one asking questions, but I've learned a lot, and I'm sure that our viewers have learned a lot how to budget, keeping good credit scores, journal your spending. Don't overspend on things that you don't really need. So that's basically everything that we've touched on. So thank you to everybody. Thanks to everyone who joined. I can't really see who's on here, but thank you everyone who has joined. And please join the live. I have it written right here. Yes, please join Tayo every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Join Mr. Maiden, my guest speaker, every Friday night. He talks about budgeting, financial plan, just everything that me and him have spoken about, have touched on. And then we have also Russell on Tuesdays as well, but at 8 p.m. And I will be back next week, Sunday. Thank you so much and have a great and productive week ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.